Hello, welcome to today's video. This is an introduction to strings or pads synth playing on a keyboard. I will be using the MIDI setting on my Kawaii piano here. And this is something that I will be teaching for those who are going to be studying in the rock school program, the keys portion of that, or if you simply want to learn how to play synth in a band or for your own pleasure. When it comes to playing strings or synth sounds or any kind of synthesizer sound that's created using MIDI, the sounds are quite endless. We can make it sound like strings. I have a little something here. We can make it sound like other instruments, but usually it's going to be a string sound like that. Okay, now there are two objectives here when learning how to play strings or synth pads on a keyboard. The first is to play very precise articulations. Usually we're going to be playing legato. For example, here's the 5-finger number 1. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Release. Okay, so there you have it. That's the 5-finger exercise number 1 with the string synth or patch. The second objective, along with playing articulations, we will be playing all 3 articulations, is the dynamics. Now, I'm going to give you an example of what is usually a very difficult problem when playing on synths. The dynamics are obviously determined by how heavy or how light you play the keys. And this sometimes can be quite sensitive on synthesizers. So, articulations and dynamics will be working both at the same time, especially the dynamics, because if you are playing in a band or if you are playing in an orchestra and you are required to enhance or to play the only strings, you don't want all of a sudden that to pop out in the middle of nowhere and just scare everybody, or it's not going to sound good. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to practice with dynamics. Okay, so we're going to start today our first exercise with the 5-finger exercise number 1, and we're going to be doing all 3 articulations. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a manipulation with the 5-finger exercise as well. And so we're going to practice one dynamic at a time. We're simply going to do piano, then we're going to do mezzo forte, and then we're going to do forte. Okay, so we're going to do 3 different dynamics. If you'd like to practice others, you can go ahead and do that on your own. Let's practice starting with the number 1 exercise with just the right hand. Let's start with piano. Okay, remember to lift and drop the wrist nice and carefully. 1, 2, legato, and piano. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Release. Now let's try that with the left hand. 2, 3, 4. Oops. 2, 3, 4, and lift. Now you notice that when I played that last one initially, it was more like a pianissimo instead of a piano. If you make a mistake, it's going to, your first reaction or knee-jerk reaction will be to let it go and play it again. It will be noticeable if you do that. If sometimes you want to use a pedal, of course, it's going to bleed over into each other. and that's not going to be a good idea for that. Pedal sometimes can be used. Usually, pedal simply is there for enhancement only. Okay, we do not want to use pedal ever to replace legato articulations. Okay, so let's try to be very sensitive when it comes to the dynamics. I want you to start off by practicing one hand at a time. The next one will be the mezzo forte. Let's make it a little bit louder. 1, 2, right hand only, and go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Now the left hand. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and release, okay? Trying to maintain that steady dynamic, okay? Mezzo forte. Now you will notice, as we did at the beginning of the video, that sounds different than just regular, simple legato playing. And so with the forte, I suppose we're going to make it more of a fortissimo, and it does have an accent sound as well to it, as though it's an orchestra strike, something like that. Okay, so let's go ahead, one hand at a time, fortissimo with the slight art accent. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want it all to be the same. Good. 2, 3. Left hand. 2. We need some strength in that. 2, 3, 4, and left. Okay, now if we are using a synthesizer and we have an expression pedal or a pedal that works with the dynamics, something that we can work on in the future, let that not replace the touch or the weight of the way we play our keys, please. Always be extremely correct and extremely accurate when deciding upon the dynamic of your music. Okay, so that's that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do something else with the 5-finger exercise number 1, and we're going to go ahead and start learning about the touch, or excuse me, the 2 voices with the 5-finger exercise number 1 for legato. We're going to be doing this for all the articulations as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this now with just legato. This video is simply dedicated to legato. All right, so the way we're going to do this first is we're going to simply do the regular 5-finger exercise number 1, but we're going to add another voice going up as we hold a note, okay? And we're going to be doing this in various different ways. I will be creating other exercises based on this, but let's go ahead and do it easy first. First we hold the C, then we're going to hold the G and come back down. Here we go. Starting with the C first. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you noticed as I got to G, I let go of C, started holding G as I went back down to C, and when I got to C, I let go. Let's try that one more time. And we're going to do this now at the piano dynamic. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's something that we can do over and over again. Let's try that now with the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Being careful not to hold on or play too loud. There are many different other ways we can do this. We can also do it this way. Let's try holding both at the same time. And of course, we'll just learn various different ways, other variations on how to manipulate sounds and to be as precise with our articulations and dynamics. Let's try that now with the left hand. And that leaves us with a nice fifth there. Okay, so there are hundreds, probably thousands of ways that we can learn to play various ways on the keyboard, but we're going to just learn it easy for now. So this is simply an introduction. In the lesson, we'll talk about doing the 5-finger exercise number 1 and doing the 2 voices, playing all 3 articulations. Simply this video will be an introduction to show how to do it, but we'll be doing all 3 articulations in the lessons. All right, thank you very much. Please practice, and we'll see you at next lesson.